Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Dealer Synergy's Webinar Wednesdays. My name is Shawnee Houlihan, and as always, I'll be your moderator today. This week, Joe Calla, General Manager of Dealer Synergy, is back and will be presenting his webinar, The Excitement of the Deal. Before we get started, I just want to remind you that if you have any questions, make sure you send them to us through the questions feature located on your screen, and Joe will answer them at the end of the presentation. A recording of this webinar will be sent to you after the broadcast for your viewing convenience. Also, please feel free to live tweet the event using hashtag Webinar Wednesdays.
Thank you, Shawnee. So here we go, guys. Welcome back. If this is your first time on, we're happy that you're here. And today we're going to talk about the excitement of the deal. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's so easy to forget about staying excited during a car deal. Okay? So what we want to do is we want to go first and foremost. We want to just give you kind of what you're going to get from here, what you'll take away from this webinar. So number one, you're going to take away how to break through the barriers of negativity. And let's just face it, no matter where we are in life or in the workplace, there's always going to be negativity that we're going to have to deal with. So we're going to learn how to break through the barriers of negativity. Next, we're going to learn how to limit the influence of daily drains in the workplace. And, I was actually talking to somebody this morning about how so many times there's just some people in this industry and just in life in general that can be a drain, situations that can be a drain and just kind of, leave you exhausted just from walking away from their presence and being around them. So we want to learn how to limit that influence of daily drains in the workplace, okay? And the next thing is we're going to look at why it's important to maintain excitement in every deal. We want to always look at the why behind the what we do, but why we do it, okay? Also, we want to look at and let you walk away from this with an understanding of how to maintain excitement in every deal that you put together, okay? So here we go. Number one, first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to break through the barriers of negativity. Again, the reality of anything, like we had said, in life, no matter what it is you're doing, in families, in relationships, in the workplace, dealing with customers, whatever it may be, dealing with employees, fellow employees, employers, whatever it is, there's always going to be both negative and positive people and situations that we deal with every day, every single day. And so, unfortunately, many times in our lives, the negative can be more impactful than the positive if we let it. And, we have to realize and remember that in the midst of all of the negativity, there's a lot of positive things that we can be grateful for, that we can be thankful for, and that we can focus on. So it's very important. Again, I can probably just start rattling off to you right now some negative things right now that are going on in my workplace, in my life, in my family, in my relationships. It's very easy to just let that be the central focus. And it's funny. I feel like many times, and maybe you can relate with this, it's very easy to gravitate to that. It seems like there's a gravitational pull to the negative more easily and more, simply than there is to the positive. Let's just face it, the world we live in revolves around the negative, revolves around the problem, revolves around why it's, so bad. And so what we need to do is we need to focus on the good. We need to focus on the positive and take the energy and allow it to be put into and channeled into the other direction, okay? We cannot forget that when people, okay, come into our dealership, they're dealing with a lot of different influential factors causing them to act and respond certain ways to us and to the entire experience, okay? There is many things that can influence the people that we deal with. Okay, a lot of different influential factors. The first thing, high emotions. Let's just face it. Even myself right now, I'm looking at going into buying a new vehicle or vehicles because I have two vehicles that are leased. One of them's coming up, and I'm dealing with people in the industry, and I'm going through everything as well. I'm working a car deal. My friends, I'm reaching out to them who are in specific dealerships. We're working on trying to get something set up with my trade in and trying to work out numbers. So you know there's high emotion involved here. Okay, and then again, I'm in the industry and I'm dealing with that. But yet, then there's the people who aren't in the industry. They're just coming in and having to deal with this again once every few years, once every 5 years, whatever it may be. So they're high emotions. They're stressed out. A very stressful time. Then they're dealing with anxiety again at the time, especially now of the season, not just with the Christmas season or the holiday season or Hanukkah or whatever specific holidays being celebrated. This is a very high anxiety, stressful season. People are worried. They're worried that they're going to be taken advantage of. They're worried that they're going to not get a good deal. They're going to pay too much. They're in fear, intimidation. They're intimidated. They're dealing with anger, distrust. Again, the experience, everything about the experience. They're afraid. They're intimidated by the entire negotiation process. They don't like to get into it. They don't like to fight or push or deal with somebody who's maybe a little bit stronger in negotiations. They're worried about being not fairly treated. They're angry at you and your staff because of a past experience with somebody who doesn't even work at your dealership. Another sales professional or some other dealership that they had an experience with, they could just be angry. Let's just face it, anger is real in the car industry. If you've been in it for long enough, there's some people that just are coming in and they are angry. They don't like you. They don't like anybody in the car industry. They just, because of the fact that you're in the car industry, it doesn't matter. You could be the most honest, most transparent person, and they don't care. They don't like you, and they're going to make sure that you know that. Okay, they don't trust you. Anything that you say is a lie because you're talking, your lips are moving, you're lying. That's the way that that many people perceive us in the industry, and it's unfortunate. And as well as the people dealing with the process and the deal. So again, these are all negative barriers. So how do we scale the walls of these negative barriers? How do we go ahead and get through this? Number one, don't take it personally. Okay? We cannot take this personally. We have to realize that although that it's focused towards us, although that it may be, aimed at us, don't take it personally. It's a business deal. It's something that when you're talking to them, they are very emotional, the client, and they're very attached to what they're dealing with. So do not take it personally. Don't be offended. Don't get upset. Keep your cool, okay? Stay professional. It's very important to stay professional. Don't lose your professionalism because of an emotional reaction, okay? You know how many times that I've heard people just lose it because somebody said something to get a rise out of them. Again, these people, our client base, even ourselves may have done this, where we've said something to get a rise out of somebody to see how far we can push them to break them. And don't let them, you ever see the commercial, don't let them see you sweat? That's true. In this industry, we have to stay cool, keep our professionalism, don't take anything personally, and we need to be respectful, regardless of whether what they've done to us or not. We have to be responsible for ourselves. We have to be accountable to what we say and what we do and how we do it and how we handle ourselves. We need to look at each person in each situation and deal with it professionally, respectfully, and don't take it personally. Okay? It's going to help you break through those barriers of negativity. Secondly, we have to look at how do we limit the influence? How do we limit the influence of daily drains in the workplace? I mean, this is very important in our industry because, again, we have to realize that there are true drains. Now, when I talk about a drain, I'm talking about like a drain, like when you think about like the drain in your sink or in your tub. If you clog it up, everything just stays it gets stopped up. But obviously, when you remove the drain, the plug there, everything goes down the drain. So there are some things that can drain you, and that can just go right down the drain here in the workplace that we need to identify. So before we limit them, let's identify them and then understand what they are, okay? The daily drains of life in the workplace can consist of bad attitudes. Bad attitudes it's like cancer. I mean, it really is. An attitude, it consists of a mental state. It consists of how you think specifically, your paradigm, the way you view things affects your attitude. It's a filter, okay? But here's something that's interesting too. When you look up the definition of attitude, it actually talks about your posture or position. And when you have an attitude, it doesn't just stay internal, it reveals itself externally. It shows itself off. Have you ever seen anybody walking with a bad attitude? Just through their walk, you can tell, man, they got a bad attitude. Or their facial expressions. Okay, whatever they do, they just have a facial expression, or their posture, the way they stand, the way they walk, the way they carry themselves. It's all reflective of their attitudes. Okay? The next thing is negative coworkers, negativity. We just addressed this. We addressed the negativity, but we have to realize that it's something that you don't want to be around. The negative coworkers, the ones who always are complaining. That's a drain. It can be exhausting because they're complaining about their commissions. They're complaining about how they lost the deal because finance couldn't get them bought. They're complaining about how they just went back a half a deal or two deals because they had to pull something off the road because the client couldn't come up with a down payment, or they couldn't come up with a cosigner, or they couldn't come up $50 a month on their payment and extend it for 2 more years in order to get the deal bought. Whatever the situation is, okay, they're complaining. They're constantly negative. They're just sitting in a circle, and they're allowing it to fester, and it just causes a black cloud to just rise above them. Stay away from them, okay? Negative coworkers, get away, run away, okay? Stay. If it's a matter of you having to stay by yourself and sit at your desk and do your work alone, then do it, okay? But stay away from the negative coworkers and the jealous coworkers, okay? Because let's just face it, there's people out there in our industry, in our stores, that are jealous about our pay plans, jealous about what we're making, jealous about how many cars we're getting, on the road, about the house deals that maybe we were given from the desk or whatever it was. I mean, we got haters internally, and you stay away from them. Keep them at bay, okay? And listen, they're gonna hate anyway. Who cares? They're gonna be jealous anyway. You just keep staying focused and put the blinders on and do what you have to do, okay? Another drain can be an unorganized schedule with no plan. Basically coming to work and just dealing with everything reactively. As soon as you walk in, you get hit with, a phone call. Then from there, you hang up, and there's another thing that is standing in front of you that you have to deal with reactively. Then there's another thing that you're dealing with. Service. One of your customers are in service, and there's a service beef, and they come and all. Now you have to go handle that. Then you come back to your desk, to the showroom, and then there's a customer that you dealt with 3 times, and that they're there again to test drive again. Then you go from there to, there's a problem with one of your deals. You go to finance. So you're just reacting. There's no plan to your day, and it's constant reactions. Okay? I get it. This is the world we live in. But if you don't have a plan for your day, if you don't set your schedule and do the best you can with trying to stay proactively on pace, I get it. I understand that we're going to be pulled and we're going to be moved to certain directions. But again, stay organized and put a plan together to make sense out of your month, your day, and your week. Okay? How can we limit these drains? How can we limit these drains? And this is something that I listened to Sean, the owner of our company, Sean Bradley, and he talks about this very often because this is a Franklin Covey thing. And Sean is a certified Franklin Covey, facilitator, him and his wife. And so they talk about this pretty often, and that is this: the circle of influence versus the circle of concern. Well, what does that mean? Simply this: if you realize in life that there are some things that you can control and then that there are some things that you can't control, this will help you deal with many of the stresses that you're going through currently, whether it's life, relationally, workplace oriented, whatever it may be. There are some things that you cannot control. There are some things that you can control. I heard somebody say this once, and I thought it was a really great statement. And it's in regards to worry. And because worry, again, we talk about it, it's very easy to begin to worry about certain things in life. And I'm sure probably some heads might be nodding right now, okay? But it's true. We can worry about a lot of different things. But somebody said this, they said, I don't worry about the things that I can change because I can change them. And then they said, I don't worry about the things that I can't change because I can't change them. Therefore, I just don't worry. That's a great statement. And I think it's very important to understand the circle of influence versus the circle of concern. There are some things that you're going to be able to influence and be able to make a difference and be able to control. Then there's some things that you can just be concerned about that you have no control. You just have to let it play out. You just have to let it work itself out. You're going to just have to let it take its course and see where it goes. But don't worry about it. If you can change it, change it. If you can't, then you don't just move on and let it do what it's supposed to do and do whatever you need to in order for you to get through it. Okay? One of the things that I also heard somebody say was this: listen, I cannot change the wind. Okay? But what I can do is I can adjust my sails so that it can make sure that it takes me in the right direction that I want to go in. So you might not be able to control the wind, but you can definitely control the sails to help guide you in the right direction and where you're headed. All right? So that's how you deal with these drains. Next, okay, and just to recap, number one, we were talking about how to break through the barriers of negativity. Number two, we're talking about how to limit the influence of daily drains in the workplace. Number three, we're looking at why it's so important to stay excited and maintain an excitement in every deal. We need to remember that although we sell cars every day, our customers don't buy cars every day. You know, you're talking to people who are maybe buying a car once every, if they're leasing, once every 3 years. Some people once every 5 years. Some people once every 10 years. Some people once every 20 years. They'll hold on to the thing and and they'll just put their foot out and start kicking if they have to, like a skateboard in order to keep this thing going. I mean, they'll just take it as far as they can go. So we can become calloused to the experience, okay, and excitement that the prospect is having and feeling because we've gone through it so many times, all right? Just because we go through it so many times, we are so used to it that it's just you're selling a car, no big deal, right? But it is a big deal. For the most part, buying a car, for most people, it's the second largest or biggest purchase that they're going to ever make in their lifetime, okay? Even though they're not buying it all up front with all straight cash, they're doing monthly payments, whatever it is, still, it's a big nut. So the reason for us to keep this excitement is simply because our energy levels and the excitement that we have and feel are transferable to the client. We create the atmosphere. We set up the culture of the deal. We control and set the temperature on the thermostat. We're the ones who go ahead and we set the thermostat. We don't just come in and just read the temperature. No, we set it. We put it to a certain level so that we can bring it to a certain place, okay? It's very important to understand that because, again, we are the ones who are truly going to make the difference here. If we're not excited, then why should they get excited? Again, they might be excited and we can bring them down. I've seen that happen. I've seen salesmen that if they never smile. Not one time. They're so serious. They're so monotone. I mean, it looks like if they were to smile, their face would crack. That's the last time they smiled. I mean, it's like that. We need to realize that we have to have some sort of an excitement in the process. Okay, it transfers to the customer. It goes into them. It's definitely something that it causes a reaction when we do that. So we want to make sure we have a good reaction. Okay, so the next thing we talked about first here, we talked about again how to break through the barriers of negativity, how to limit the influence of daily drains in the workplace, why it's so important to stay excited and maintain an excitement in every deal. And next is how do we maintain excitement in the deal? Okay, how do we do this? All right, how do we maintain it? Simply by having a positive attitude, staying positive. We talked about staying away from negative, bad attitudes, and that can be a drain. Well, then stay positive. Listen to positive things. Start looking different at things differently. If you're not used to being positive, start changing the way you do things. Okay? Start looking at the glass not just as half empty, but as half full. Okay, I understand it's both. It's half empty and half full. But yes, start looking at it more as being half full. Start looking at it as being an opportunity, not a problem. Start keeping your mindset as your paradigm. You have to shift the way you think. Okay. Secondly, emphasize the excitement of the new. Emphasize the excitement of the new. Everything, whatever it is, the features, the fact that the client is buying a new vehicle, even if it's a used vehicle, it's still new to them. It's a new used vehicle to them. So it's new in their life. They've been driving whatever it was that they're driving for however long, and now they're getting this new thing. Stay excited about that. This is new. It's a brand new vehicle. It's got great features. The excitement of the new features. And look what just came out with this. And look at the warranty now that you have. You have coverage for the entire amount of your lease. You have coverage up to 60,000 miles. Look at the benefits of what this can add to your life now that you have Bluetooth and hands-free, or you have GPS now built in. And you don't have to worry about keep looking at your phone. It's right there now. And you have whatever it is that you have, the Entune or whatever system that you have in there, specific to the excitement and the benefit of what it's going to give to the buyer. Okay? Again, the service plan that comes with it. You get complimentary oil changes for the life of your vehicle. Or whatever it is that you have, stay excited and bring out the emphasis of this new thing that they have. Stay also fresh on your current product knowledge. Okay? Also, stay fresh on the incentives of what's going on out there, what's happening right now within your manufacturer, within your store. If there's certain buyback programs, whatever it is, stay excited about the opportunities that you have and that the manufacturer is giving you to help you sell cars, to help you do your job. And what the dealership is doing and what they're paying to get you traffic to come into the store to give you an opportunity. Instead of complaining about that there's no ups, start being thankful for what's coming through the door and what's happening when the phone's ringing. Start getting a positive attitude. Stay fresh with all of this, okay? Get any information and do as much research as you can to make the buying process better for the customer. Practice, role play, go through what you need to become better as a professional in your area of influence, whatever it is, whether you're a coordinator, a sales rep, a sales manager, finance manager, delivery representative, whatever you're doing, a greeter, a receptionist, whatever it is that you're doing, do it with excitement and do it with excellence. Aristotle said this. He said, excellence is a habit. Okay? He said, we are what we repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence is a habit, not just one-time act. Okay? It's a habit. So we need to start acting in excellence habitually. Okay? And the other thing that we can do to stay excited is we need to remember that we're getting paid for the deal. That we're getting paid, man. This is a commission. This could be a unit. Yeah, it could be a flat. It could be a mini, but it's a commission. This could be the 1 unit or half unit that's needed and necessary in order for you to be able to get your next bonus level. There might be a bonus tied to this. There might be a spin tied to this deal. Whatever it may be, this is the kind of stuff that you need to keep in your mind to stay excited so that you can keep yourself going. You have to understand that no matter what, you're getting paid to do this, and you should be glad about that. Okay? That'll keep excitement in the deal. So what did you take away? What are our takeaways from this? Again, just to recap and go through this. Number 1, how to break through the barriers of negativity. Number 2, how to limit the influence of daily drains in the workplace. And number 3, why is it so important to stay excited and maintain an excitement in every deal? And then how, number 4, do we do that to maintain the excitement in every deal? Guys, I hope this helped you. I'm sure it's going to be able to benefit you while you take this with you. And I just want to say thank you again to everybody who joined on. So at this time, if you have any questions, we're going to definitely take the questions.
Okay, there's 2 questions here. Last week, you talked about the customer's view of a car salesperson. Do you think that being too excited will make them believe that stereotype, or is there no limit to your amount of excitement?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to stay excited. So the level of excitement, again, I'm not talking about standing on top of the chair and jumping up and down and doing all these, crazy things, but you want to stay excited in the deal. You want to keep, your level. You want to smile. You want to stay, energized and bring it as far as you can go with it without going over the top. You know what I mean? Without stepping over the boundaries, so to speak. So definitely, everybody's different. I get it. Everybody has a different personality. So your excitement level may look differently to me, but at least make sure that whatever that excitement level looks like to you, that it definitely is transferable, noticed, and noticeable by the client and the customer.
Should I try to convert an employee who's a hater or just distance myself?
So try to convert an employee who's a hater. So a fellow employee, I just want to make sure I'm getting this right. So I guess from what I'm reading here, it's a fellow employee that is a hater against you. So if that's what I'm thinking here, then, you can't change anybody. All you need to do is do the best you can with yourself. I cannot change anyone. I mean, I'm telling you right now, there's people that I know specifically that, the places that I worked at, certain people just didn't like me. They didn't like that I was getting paid the money I was getting paid. They didn't like certain things about my role that I played. They didn't like the fact that I had success in certain areas. And they were just, again, comparing themselves to me instead of comparing themselves to their potential. What happens is when you start comparing yourself to someone else, then yeah, you can start getting into that type of place where you're hating and all that stuff. We need to compare ourselves to our own potential rather than to someone else. Because when we think about it in the way where we start comparing ourselves to our own potential, then we really are going to probably end up falling much shorter than we would if we compare ourselves to someone else. So again, don't worry about the hater. Haters going to hate, okay? It's just how it is. Haters are going to hate. And no matter what, you just keep on doing what you're doing. And you just keep on selling. You just keep on working your client base. You just keep on working your deals. And you just keep smiling. There's nothing worse that you can do to someone who hates you or hates at you or whatever, is just keep on smiling and keep going and keep forging through, because it just makes them even more upset, because they're not even phasing you. You know what I mean? So I think that's it. That's the last of our questions. Again, I want to just say thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everyone on the other side as well. And I'm going to turn it over to Shawnee. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, you guys can feel free to go ahead and email me at joe@dealersynergy.com, or you can call me on my cell phone at 856-952-1786. 856-952-1786. Thanks again, Shawnee. It's all yours.
I just wanted to thank everyone for coming this week. If you enjoyed this webinar, then you will love Bradley On Demand. Bradley On Demand is the most advanced virtual training, tracking, testing, and certification platform, featuring hundreds of advanced videos that will train you step by step how to sell more cars more often and more profitably. For more information, you can go to www.bradleyondemand.com. And please remember, if you have any questions about the webinar, feel free to contact me at shawnee@dealersynergy.com or by phone 856-546-2440, extension 34. And I just want to remind everyone that due to the holidays, we will not be hosting webinars until January. We hope you all have a wonderful holiday and a very happy new year. See you in 2015.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Webinar Wednesday. If you liked it, you're going to love Bradley On Demand. Bradley On Demand is the most advanced virtual training, tracking, testing, and certification platform, featuring hundreds and hundreds of advanced videos that will train you step by step how to sell more cars, more often, and more profitably. Sign up